So the question we have all been wondering, is the 2019 MX-5 really that different from the previous year? Well, a lot of stuff has been changed, and I'll get into detail about how those changes feel as a driver, but the Coles notes is that the engine has been reworked, different internals, different intake design, different flywheel, and a different exhaust, which means a higher redline and more power, and better sound. For reference, this naturally aspirated engine makes more horsepower than the turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Fiat 124 Spider Abarth that I drove last week. So naturally, I was very excited to see how different the new MX-5 feels, and Mazda Canada had an RF or retractable fastback on hand, so let's get on with it.
And actually, I picked the RF because I wanted to test out to see if they fixed this wind noise issue, which they actually haven't. One of the reasons I wanted to test the 2019 RF was because of this. I don't know if you can hear this right now. I'm going to put the top back up in a minute, but this is actually quite annoying because right beside your head. Now put the windows down. It's still there, except it's louder. All right, anyway, and top back up. We have done it while moving. Operation complete. Woohoo! All right, let's process this for a second. What Mazda's done, or Mazda, if you're from America and you constantly comment on my videos and tell me that I'm pronouncing it wrong, Mazda, we're both pronouncing it wrong. It's actually something like Matsuda. All right, I just butchered that probably, but it's not Mazda, it's not Mazda. Both of us are wrong, so tomato, whatever. Anyway, what Mazda's done with the Miata is take a car, the ND, that we all love, we never had any issues with, and they made it better. Because that's what this is. The 2019 is simply just a better ND MX-5. Straight up. Everything about it is exactly the same, or better. They haven't ruined anything. All they've done is improve certain aspects of it. Let's start with the engine, obviously, because that's what we all want to know about. This is a completely reworked engine. In fact, the only thing that carries over is the engine block. The rest of it, the pistons, the connecting rods, the valves, everything in the engine, everything has been redone, reworked to improve the performance. So we have a high revving, naturally aspirated engine now. It goes to 7,500 RPM. High revving NA engines are my favorite thing in the world. Listen. That's so good. It seriously is. Like, come on, listen to that. A little bit of a louder exhaust too this year. Don't get me wrong, turbos are great, but nothing beats a wailing NA engine. 7,500 RPM. In case you're not good at math, that's really close to 8,000. This is almost an 8,000 RPM naturally aspirated motor. That's just the coolest thing ever. We no longer have the S2000, so we don't get any wailing 4-cylinder roadsters anymore. So this is the closest we get, and you know what? It's pretty good. I'm not having a problem with it at all. It just keeps revving and revving and revving. Pretty much the only downside to this engine now is that we have a lot of headroom in first and second gear, which means that we end up with an engine that you can't quite ring out on the road as much right to the red line. The red line's higher, obviously. And I think I'm right in saying this, but it seems like we can't quite run through the gears as much as you want on the road, because the 2018 Miata, that was kind of the fun of it. You can just red line a couple gears and you're okay on the road. Here now, second gear goes right to 100 kilometers an hour, and anything past that, you're breaking the speed limit. So that's the only issue with it. Otherwise, we have more power, a little bit more torque, and the engine sounds and feels fantastic, straight up. It is a good old NA power band that you need to wring right out to get the torque out of it. And that is what I love in a little car like this. I tested the Fiat 124 Spider, which is turbocharged, last week. I hope you watched that video. And I honestly really did like that car, but that engine cannot hold a candle to what this one is doing right now. This car it's just fantastic. The engine is 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 fantastic. The overall, this Miata is not like a night and day difference between the last year. It's not like I just very recently tested a 2018. And this car is not like, oh wow, this is like a totally new car. No, it feels pretty much exactly the same. But we have a higher red line, more power. That actually doesn't get old. The sound is fantastic. Induction noise is fantastic. It fills the cabin, especially with the ND. Now, the way that it drives otherwise has not really been changed at all. We have, instead of a single mass flywheel, we've gone to a dual mass lightweight flywheel, which I thought was a little bit weird. However, from here, I can't see there being any difference in the way that the revs rise or fall. I can still... That was a heel toe downshift into second. Bang, perfect. Here's the revs falling. Revs fall quickly in between gears still, so I cannot tell a difference in the flywheel at all, straight up. Now the chassis itself has not really been improved. If it has, I haven't noticed anything. It's still an MX-5, it's still a Miata, which means we have a lot of body roll in a good way. I ranted about that in my last Miata video, and my opinion has not changed. The body roll in these cars is not a bad thing. It allows you to feel the chassis movement. It allows you to feel the motion and the transitions of weight, and that's what lets you become a good driver. This car is so well balanced that no matter what you do, you have communication to you, and it comes in a predictable way. You go into a corner too fast, you lift off too aggressively, you give it too much throttle, and the car will let you know with a gentle nudge that you're not doing the right thing, or you're intentionally not doing the right thing for fun. And it's easy to control because nothing happens, nothing snaps in this car. It's not a snappy car. It just progressively allows you to control understeer and oversteer with ease. It's the perfect type of car, perfect type of rear-wheel drive car to learn on. And in this model, we have a limited slip differential, which obviously means more controllable power slides if you were to do them at a track. Now, the rest of the car itself has a few little improvements here and there for the 2019. One of them that I do like is the doors actually open in 2 stops. So that means that the first stop is all you need to get in and out. So instead of it going to a couple little, you're like, where do I put it? It's going to hit the car. It just goes to one stop that is a predictable amount. It allows you to get out, and if you want to open it all the way, it swings open all the way into the second stop, which is actually a nice little addition. We have a backup camera this year. The backup camera, for some reason, like the rest of Mazda's, isn't very good, but it's there and it works. And other than that, there isn't a whole lot to note about this car that's going to completely blow your mind, other than that engine. This is a great engine. Oh, I forgot. The steering wheel telescopes. How did I forget? I literally was like Instagramming this constantly at the Throttle House. Follow me on Instagram. I was Instagramming it constantly. I was so pumped that the steering wheel telescopes. This is probably the biggest improvement. How did I gloss over this? How did it take me so long to get here? I don't know why. I have one job and I failed you. The steering wheel telescopes, which means that I can create a driving position in the Miata as a 5'10" gentleman that actually works. It doesn't come very far, but it comes just enough that my feet are perfectly spaced in the pedals, my knees are not touching the steering wheel, I'm in an upright position, my head's not hitting, and my arms are bent, and I'm at 9 and 3. In a Miata, it fits me. This is just awesome. I didn't get an NA or an NB, even though I kind of like them better than an NC. I own an NC, as I said. I got that because I fit in it better. I fit perfectly in this now, perfectly. No complaints about the driving position in this car. That has actually improved the car massively, in my opinion. We have a physical handbrake. Thank you for that, because handbrake turns, obviously. What else? The rest of it is just a regular Miata. Honestly, it handles fantastically. Love the way it goes around a back road like this. It's never not fun. The clutch is a little bit light for my tastes. I like the clutch better in the Fiat 124 Spider. It's heavier and it's meatier, and that has the NC transmission, which is a little bit more aggressive of a transmission, it feels like. This one is a little bit lighter, and it's really easy for me to kind of slot it into gear, which is nice, but I kind of like to, wrestle with the car a little bit. It's more engaging. Other than that, this is just, it's a win for Mazda. It really is. There's no other way for me to describe it to you other than this is just a great little car. If you were shopping for an MX-5 and you bought a 2018, I'm sorry, this is better. Still a great car, don't get me wrong. But for those of you that are looking right now and were considering pulling the trigger already on a Mazda, don't consider any longer. Honestly, this is, get it. Get the 2019. Why would you not? It's fantastic. This engine, I'm curious to see how it's going to hold up because it feels pretty revvy, like it's pretty high strung. But you know what? The lid delivers. Now let's try some bad things. Let's do it just because that's my job. I don't like the seats. These are the Recaros. I know everyone raves about how good they are, but inside the bolsters on the side, you can feel the harsh bar. There's a bar that gives you the bolster strength. And me being a 5'10", 195-pound dude, I don't sit easily in these seats. And actually, I'm sitting on a towel right now because it raises me up a little bit and then I don't have the bolsters digging into my thighs. So now I'm sitting kind of up on top of the bolsters. So I've lost a little bit of headroom, but I can still fit with the hard top, which is nice. So I don't like the seats. I don't find them that comfortable, to be perfectly honest. It's weird. I don't know what to tell you. The infotainment is not the best. It's like the rest of Mazda stuff. It still looks like the menu for a Blade Trinity movie. We go to navigation and it looks nice and you have a nice 3D and 2D view, but it doesn't, it's not very intuitive how to use it. The music section is okay. It's nice to have solid buttons down here, but this little volume knob is a little bit too far back, okay? Ergonomically, this car is fine. It is a roadster. There isn't enough passenger legroom no matter what you say. That's kind of an issue. I had some passengers complain about the comfort in here. What else do I not like? The cup holders, I prefer the cup holders in the NC, the previous gen. I actually do, because you had them in the doors here, and they didn't dig into my legs. People complained about that, but I didn't find it as being an issue. And you had 4 cup holders. Now I've got 2, and one of them is awkwardly back here, right? They come out a little bit easier, it seems, this year. And there's the one up there which digs into your passenger's leg if you're using it. This ND, I think, is going to go down in history as one of the great little roadsters of our time. It honestly is. I might be wrong about that. There might be something coming out in the next year that's going to just wipe it away. But honestly, this high-revving ND Miata is what we need as drivers. It's what we want. It is a naturally aspirated roadster that is light and fun, and it's zingy. You ring it out and it makes lots of noises. It's got more than enough power to have fun on a back road or at a track or at an autocross. It handles perfectly. Thank you, Mazda. Thank you for producing this car to this day. It is quite expensive, and they can charge that because no one's really making any serious competition for it. But you're getting what you pay for. You really are. This is, especially the RF, is still one of the best proportioned looking vehicles on sale today, in my opinion. I think it looks fantastic. This red is stunning in real life, and it is a perfectly fun car. So, thank you for watching Throttle House. My name is Thomas Holland. Make sure you subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Buy a t-shirt. There's a link in the description. Please, buy a t-shirt. Then I can afford to buy more camera gear and make cooler videos for you. I've got lots of stuff coming all summer long. Cars that are coming up that you're gonna like. Kia Stinger, doing a road test of that. I've got some Jag products, Land Rover products, lots of really cool stuff. So make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell. You know what to do. Bye.